This is Travis Lee Bailey, February 18th, 2022. I'm standing on Red Square. Behind me are the Onion Domes and then, of course, the famous tower. I want to talk a little bit about Ukraine. On February 16th, the Biden administration and also the puppet government of Ukraine stated that there was going to be an invasion by Russia. It's February 18th. Today there was a Donbass false flag. Well, there was some kind of attack. And the United States wants to attack. It wants Russia to attack. And I want to talk to you Americans, especially fellow Americans. I want to talk to you a little bit about the history of Russia and the history of the Soviet Union. In 1991, President Bush and also President Gorbachev, they made agreements, and they made agreements that there would be no expansion of Germany, of NATO. There would be zero expansion of NATO. And so what happened is that they said that if there was a united Germany, there would be no NATO expansion further than Germany. Since that time, all the Baltics have become part of NATO. Several other countries that were former Warsaw Pact, including Poland, has become NATO. This is despite the promises of James Baker, and this is despite the promises of the administration, the presidential administration. So, since that time, currently, right now, there are people. It's like Mexico. There is people. It's like as if America had Mexican. It's like as if Russia was in Mexico, and they were on the border, and that's what the threat is right now with Russia. And so also, I wanted to talk a little bit about Maidan in Kyiv, in Ukraine. In 2014, Victoria Nuland, you could look her up, in a telephone call, she talked about the revolution in Maidan. It was a Maidan Square in Kyiv in 2014. Now, the person that was elected at the time, the president of Ukraine, was democratically elected. And what happened is the American government, including John McCain, came to Maidan, actually was the name, was Maidan. And they came to Maidan and they basically said that Victoria Nuland was passing out cookies and the late John McCain came and they helped overthrow Ukraine. They installed a government that was supportive of them. This was 2014. And so I just wanted to tell you that right now that the history, you got to understand the history of Ukraine. They consider Belarus, and they consider, like Russians consider Belarus, they consider Ukraine a part of Russia. And half of Russia is Russian speaking. And so right now in the Donbass, there was an attack, and in that attack today, it's a precursor to war. And as I mentioned, the American government and the puppet Ukrainian government that was installed, that was helped to be installed by the Americans, they they predicted that on the 16th, 2 days ago, that Russia would invade. They haven't invaded. Russia says they do not want to invade. And so there's going to be no invasion, and it's America that is trying to push for this war. It is NATO that's trying to push for this war. NATO that's expanded. The Warsaw Pact is now all NATO. And Russia has a history of foreign governments invading. Napoleon, World War II with the Nazis, and Hitler. And Russia is concerned because half of Ukraine is Russian, and they speak Russian. And this is Travis Lee Bailey, and I'm on Red Square, February 18th, 2022. A MoscowAmerican.com. Why don't Russians smile? Subscribe.